Well, thank you so much for meeting with Beach.com today. I wanted to introduce you. So here we have Ivan, the new Chief Experience Officer of Cancun for Cancun.com. And we want to meet you today to learn all about Ivan the Intrepid and learn about our favorite destination, Cancun, because here at Beach.com, we're the only online resource dedicated to beach travel only in the Caribbean and Mexico. And we cover everything from must-do trip ideas to local advice, planning essentials, and even the best places to stay. So I'm sure you're going to have a bunch of information for us. But why don't we just start with, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? More about your background. How did Ivan the Intrepid start?
That's a great question. I have to go back a little ways for that. I'm from Boise, originally, the great potato state, as everyone knows it. But I kind of developed a travel bug in a couple different stages. So I went on a cruise my senior year of high school, which is actually Mexico, is Progreso, Cozumel, Belize. And then I studied abroad in Spain and backpacked after that. And from design, keep traveling. So I started trying to design my life around that. And I was lucky. I was super fortunate. Found a job marketing Idaho potatoes. So I do these nationwide tours with a 12,000-pound potato on a semi truck. We go all over the country, and that allowed me to create content, be in a kind of ambassador role, and develop a lot of skills that I'd ultimately need for this job, actually, and to travel in my time. So I had about 5-7 months a year to just go travel, which really fit within my lifestyle. So as I started traveling more, like, you start to evolve as a traveler, and Ivan the Intrepid kind of evolved as an opportunity to try and share my experiences, and the things I'm learning, the things that, really, that I think that travel can give you. I wanted to share the good and bad, and how we grow through traveling. So that was kind of always the goal. I wanted to, in a way, I guess, help other people find a way to travel. Since I was always a budget traveler, I wanted to show you didn't need a bunch of money to travel. You don't have the money to go to nice beaches. So just wanted to make sure people had the tools and resources to do that. And because I got so many questions. So it just meant Ivan the Intrepid was a way of adding a little more meaning, and also kind of, I guess, creating a page where I could share my stuff, and the people who wanted to follow me could follow me.
Okay. Very cool. And so in one of your videos, I heard you say that you want to change the world through travel. So what kind of change do you want to see? Like, what kind of change do you think travel can create?
So there's a lot of great quotes, a lot of cliche sayings about the way travel can change you. But for me, if you look at all the lists, like the top 10 reasons why you should travel now, ultimately, my belief is that it just makes you a better person. Like, through these experiences of interacting with different cultures, different lifestyles, you're getting out of your comfort zone. That's when you actually grow a lot, and that's when your mind is open a little bit more. And I think that at the end of the day, we're all looking to become better people, because it makes us better in the way that we interact with other people, and it improves their lives, and it improves the world. And so I think that it's a small thing, but I think that travel, and obviously there's different types of travel, but
yeah,
I think that travel has the ability to, create a ripple effect throughout your life. And that's why you should travel now, so that you can become the best person that you can be, and have these experiences that will affect the way that you interact with the world from here on out. So to me, that's why travel is so important. I think that you should do it now. Don't wait. But that's how I think it begins within yourself, and then it affects everything you do the rest of your life.
Obviously, you've done some travel promoting. You just explained to me your background, but this is a totally new position. So what were you expecting going into it? And now that you've been in 6 weeks, what's different than what you expected?
I feel like I expected, I had a pretty good expectation for the job. A lot of the headlines and stuff after I got it were like, this guy's getting paid all this money to vacation in Cancun for 6 months. I was pretty aware that it's a job, and it's going to be a busy job, because there's a lot to do, a lot to cover.
Yeah.
And so it's been good, because it has been busy, though, because I want to look back at this 6 months and be like, yeah, I got the most out of it. And so I've been doing a lot of exploring, and had a lot of opportunities to meet people, interact, with locals, and I mean, I knew that's kind of what it'd be. There's like kind of an ambassadorial part of the job, and then there's also the content creation part, and so with both of those roles, it definitely keeps you kind of busy. But it's the hard part is finding that line between work and play, because like a lot of the things that if people ask what I do in my free time, I'm like, well, I don't know. It's hard because even in my free time, I go out and explore. But if I'm going to explore, I'm going to bring my camera, and that's content I'm capturing that would be part of a video or a social media post later on. So it's kind of work,
Yeah, that was one of my other questions. What you do in your free time?
Yeah, it's a tough question to answer because I don't know. Like I'm a hard time finding like the line between free time and work and stuff. So
yeah. I guess when you're kind of living your dream for your job, maybe free time is like, it's still work, but you're living your dream. So.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to that saying, like, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. So I'm definitely loving what I'm doing. So this is, as someone who was, had a little YouTube channel on a blog, that's ultimately what you hope for, is to find a job that makes it sustainable. So very fortunate to be here in this amazing destination.
Do you speak Spanish? Is there a language barrier? Did you take any classes before starting as CEO?
Sí, puedo hablar español poquito. I always say it depends on the day, and if I got a lot of sleep the night before, who's talking. But I studied it in school for a little bit, which is obviously very basic. But then I studied abroad in Spain, and I spent about 7 months in total backpacking through South America.
Okay,
so
you're well.
Among all that, like I get around. I mean, I can get by for sure. But there's still a depth to the conversations that I'm still lacking. So I'm hoping after this 6 months, I'll know all the Mexican slang words, and I'll be able to speak with the locals. So.
Definitely. Maybe we'll have to do a follow-up interview, and you can tell us all the Mexican slang you learned.
I've got a list in my phone I'm starting to create, so I'll have a good list for you.
6 weeks in, so there's obviously a ton of things planned. I don't know how planned out your itinerary is, but what are you most excited for that you haven't done yet in Cancun?
So I'd say first off, just because I'm here and it stands out to me, I get to spend the whole month at Xcaret, which is a pretty brand new property, and I get access to all the parks, which are anyone who like you even said yourself, you've been to the parks down here, and they have about 5 or 6. So I'll be getting very intimate with all of those, and it's just a wide diversity in activities. So for me, that's really exciting. The next I'm looking forward to, which is later on in the year, is the whale shark season. That's been on my bucket list for a while now. So so that's the snorkeling and scuba diving is going to be very exciting with those 40-foot beasts.
Yeah, I saw that in one of your videos. You talked about the whale sharks. Are you already scuba certified, or is that something you're going to have to do?
Yeah, so I am. I don't have a ton of experience, but I actually have my advanced. It's just funny how that can work out.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to scuba dive with them. And to me, one of the most magical places about this region geographically are the cenotes. I think it's just such a unique formation. Those are the holes. If people who don't know, they're basically the ground here is so porous that all the rivers are underground. And then every once in a while, like there's a section of the ground that dries out and collapses and exposes the water. So sometimes they're kind of sunken water formations underneath the ground, or sometimes they're surface level, but they're just these beautiful clear water pools that you can go swim and snorkel in. And there's tunnels, because they're underground rivers that you can scuba dive in, and they connect each other. And I mean, it's just insane. It's crazy. That's
amazing. Yeah, thank you for that explanation. I want to know everything about Cancun, of course. So, you're working with Cancun.com. Why were you drawn to Cancun and drawn to the cultural experience officer specifically in Cancun?
Well, I mean, there's definitely a lot of reasons that would attract someone to this job, obviously. But for Cancun specifically, like I said, my first time ever outside the country was actually to this region of the world, the Yucatan Peninsula. So I went to Progreso and Cozumel, and that was where I first experienced my cenote. And it was that first time I got to watch life outside the United States go by as you're in a bus. And it was just, those kind of moments really stick with you. And so to me, like when this job came about and it was in this part of the world, I was just like, it just felt like my travel life was coming full circle, and I was finally making it back to where it all began. So to me, it was really special in that regard. And then obviously, like I said, like what I love to do is explore and experience and share what this job is. So it's for from a job perspective. So it's definitely the dream job.
Like I said, I've been watching a lot of your videos. You know, you did a tequila tasting. I think I looked at your story. You were just tasting a traditional Mexican dish yesterday. It looks like you're getting a lot of interaction with the locals. So can you tell us more about what the locals are like in Cancun and the areas you're going to?
Yeah, I get a lot of interaction with the locals who work like in the hotels and out on the streets, the taxi drivers, and everything's been super positive. Like I talk to them a lot, especially because of what I'm doing here and stuff. Just 'cause I want to know like what they think of the tourism industry, and the reality is that this part of the world like was set up to receive visitors, to set up become a tourist destination, and so all the industries here coming, and everyone is super of that. Everyone knows how important it is to their livelihoods, and so it's something that they're all very passionate about. You can hear it when they talk about the destination, the location, and it's just fun seeing people from all over Mexico who've come here because of the opportunities and to interact with travelers and stuff like that. Because there's not most people here aren't from here, like they're from other parts of Mexico.
Okay.
And so hearing their stories about what brought them here and why they're here is super fun, and they love the visitors from the US and Canada and the rest of the world.
Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I was walking around the streets of Cozumel, and I was like, I always look like a mega tourist because I've got my monopod with this huge camera mounted on top, and I'm talking to it. And this guy just started talking in the street in Spanish, and we were just talking for a while. He's actually going to be in my Cozumel video, but he gave me a beer, and we're sitting there having a beer on the street just randomly. He just got off work, and we're talking about tourists and stuff and how much he loves Cozumel. And then I was like, what do you want to say to, I had like do a little talk to the camera. I'm like, what do you want to say to tourists? And he's like, venga, come on, come down here. Like, we welcome you. Everyone's welcome to the island.
Cool.
And that's kind of the vibe that you get from most of the people here.
Yeah, and that's not like everywhere you're going to go in the world. So it's good for people to know that maybe haven't left the country for like ever or want to go somewhere for the first time.
Yeah.
Cozumel or Cancun, anywhere in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about Xcaret, but we know you've seen quite a few beach resorts by now. Is there one beach resort that stands out to you more than the others? And if so, why?
Every place is definitely unique. It's hard because each one has their own offering, and so like it's hard to compare any to Xcaret. Like just from my experiences here, like from the architecture to the layout to the activities you can do. I mean, they have a river where you can like paddleboard and kayak around, and they have 4 kilometers of beach. I mean, there's just different offerings, and so some offer a more secluded feel, like where I'm staying now on Coral Beach. It's kind of got like its own little nook inside the hotel zone.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like when you get further south, like down here towards Xcaret, like then it's even more secluded because there's less resorts altogether.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm rambling because I don't have a good answer for that.
Okay.
Each one has definitely been unique, and it's hard. What makes it hard is it's hard to find a bad stretch of beach down here.
Mm-hmm.
Like talking to some people at Live Aqua the other day, and they're like, yeah, when we saw the pictures for the hotel, we saw the beach, like we figured, don't get our expectations too high because, it's not going to live up. And then they got here and they're like, wow, like the water really does look like that. The sand really does look like that.
Like that photo wasn't enhanced.
I mean, like, yeah, I'm like hashtag no filter. Like it is what it is. There's just so many miles, so many stretches of beach that are so pristine. It's hard to go wrong.
So, like we said, Mexico and Cancun in particular is very touristed. So there's all kinds of excursions and tours you can do. Is there a tour or a site you have seen in Cancun that most tourists don't usually get to that you would strongly recommend? Like off the beaten path or?
Yeah, actually, I got to go. There was a sustainability summit here, and I got to go with them on the tour to Cancun, which is a biosphere reserve just south of Tulum. The Tulum's kind of get into the Riviera Maya, and so Cancun is it's actually a UNESCO heritage site. But you can. I went with a place called Community Tours, and all the guides are Mayan. Our guide is actually the president now, but and I just posted a story about him on our Instagram. But I mean, he grew up in the jungle, like harvesting like gum from the gum trees, and before coming to like like the cities, and they started this cooperative where they were guiding in Mayan only into the jungle, and then he only learned English like in 2004. And they started offering the tours in Spanish and English. And it's cool because what I love about down here is with those eco reserves is it's not like you just walk around and you just look at things. Like there are ways you can actually interact with nature. So you're taking boats out on the lagoon, like you're actually traveling down old Mayan travel routes, like through like the mangroves and stuff. And then like you actually get to get out. It's like a natural lazy river. You just get out and you float down it. It's just like crystal clear water in between these lagoons. And so that definitely stands out. And they make like some amazing food, all from like local organic produce, Mayan recipes. So it's that's definitely was a really special experience that I got to partake in.
That sounds amazing.
And you can do it. Anyone can do it too. Yeah.
Okay, and you said that's right outside of Tulum?
Yeah, just south. It's in Muyil, Muyil.
Okay.
Just a little town, and the organization's Community Tours that runs the tours through Cancun.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. You know, a lot of people watch the news. A lot of people are afraid to travel. Some people might hear things about Mexico. So what would you say to those that might think or are worried that Mexico isn't safe?
I think that people need to give it a chance. I think that you can't define a destination by the headlines it receives. And I think that we all intrinsically know that, but we forget when it's not our own country.
Yeah.
The reality is that Cancun is very safe. It's very travelable. There's a ton of travelers down here constantly from all over the world that are having an amazing experience. And anywhere, it doesn't matter if you're in Omaha, Nebraska, or if you're in Cancun, or you're in Sao Paulo, like you have to have a certain level of street smarts where there's just certain things you don't do when you're in an area you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never would recommend getting drunk and walking around the streets at 3 a.m. anywhere, not even where I'm at.
Of course.
I mean, at the very least, you're going to get picked up and put in a detox.
Yeah. What's your favorite Cancun dish?
All right,
Mexican dish.
Favorite Cancun dish? I just had a mole creme brulee, and it was really awesome. So as for dessert, outside of that, I would say it, like food wise, I had a bread bowl that had like a jalapeno or a habanero cream soup. So out right to me right now.
Both of those sounds amazing. So what's your favorite nightlife scene or bar?
So I've only been to Coco Bongo so far, so I have to go Coco Bongo, and it was absolutely insane.
Okay.
In the club, I don't know if you're talking about shows too, but from as far as the club perspective, Coco Bongo is the only one I've been to, and it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, perfect answer. And your favorite tequila?
Favorite tequila? I tried a 400. It's called a 400 Anejos, so 400 rabbits, and it was actually a mezcal. And I actually really liked it because mezcal is a little bit different. I did a Facebook Live on it. It's like made from a different type of agave, but it's got a real smoky taste to it, and like it's usually paired with like some oranges or cucumbers and stuff. And so I really enjoyed the experience of it, and also like the smoky burn that comes with mezcal.
And what's your favorite beach?
Favorite beach, I always say, is the one I'm at. So right now I'd be at Hotel Xcaret, and they're 4 kilometers of just secluded beach.
Okay. And your favorite hidden gem? It might be the reserve we talked about.
Yeah, I think that as far as hidden gems go, that would be one. If we're talking about food, I really enjoyed a place called El Palomar in Cozumel. That was an amazing little restaurant in an old historic building. Amazing food, and I'm used to thinking hidden gems are like the little divey places, but this place is actually a really nice restaurant. Okay. That's like 80% local, so it's still like I still would consider it a hidden gem with amazing food.
And what's your best travel tip to traveling anywhere, travel in general, that you could give someone, travel advice?
I would say don't plan everything. Leave some room for the unexpected and for the spontaneous events that can occur during a trip. Otherwise, you miss out on a lot of great opportunities because you're too regimented. So type A people, let it go. Let it go.
Last question. In Mexico, is guac extra?
No, it's in most places I've been staying, it's included, and it's a bad thing because I eat a lot of guac.
Okay, perfect. Final question. We wanted to know how your tiny house is doing. We checked out your website, Ivan the Intrepid, and we know that you left your tiny house back home while you're traveling Cancun.
I did. Yeah, so it's good. So I have some people that go and check up on regularly. Apparently, it's still standing,
Okay,
which is a good sign. Yeah, survived the winter, and yeah, right now I've got it all done to where my walls are up. So when I go back up to tape and texture and start doing like the finish work, install the kitchen, the plumbing, tiling, you know, all that kind of really detail oriented stuff. Yeah, it's coming along. It's taking a little longer than I expected, but working with secondhand materials, a lot of time you kind of got to wait for some things to come available. And you know, when I have to learn everything before I do it, so that also adds a little time to the process. But it's been good. It was a great experience, and I'm excited to go back in and finish it up once this job wraps up.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so obviously we've learned a ton about you. We've learned a ton about Cancun. So for anyone that sees this video or anybody that's interested, how can we follow you? How can we keep up with your adventures, keep up with Cancun.com?
All my adventures, all my posts, all my videos I'll be creating will be hosted on Cancun is through the Facebook, and it's just a little more accessible. So definitely go follow us on Cancun.com, on all our social media channels. I do a little more blogging style stuff on my Instagram stories, Ivan the Intrepid. I try to keep it more specific to the destination on Cancun.com. So both are good, and that's where you can follow the adventure and come and get your research and your dose of inspiration for visiting Mexico.
Okay, thank you so much, Ivan. It's really been a pleasure to meet with you today, and we're really looking forward to seeing the rest of your adventures.